their crime. Wouldn't we love to have a statistic where crime is down 67%? Ours is only going in one direction.
Listen, the president had all major police chiefs to the White House just last month. Violent crime is across the board down in most major cities, and that's something we need to talk about, certainly, as Democrats. The highest jump in the homicide rate, the murder rate in this country annually happened in the last year of the Trump administration. It didn't happen in any of the Biden years over these last 3 years. So, again, the president is running on his record. Donald Trump is a different situation than 2016, has a record he's got to defend as well.
Oh, that's gotta hurt!
Wait for it. Wait for it. Okay, cue migrant blaming, deflection, and whatever diatribe you can possibly say fast enough to drown out the facts.
Consider illegal fentanyl brought in by drug cartels.
As Trump brought his bigot brigade to Wisconsin and Michigan, outside of his usual bold-faced lying and stomach-churning xenophobia,
29,000 from China, and they all seem to be perfectly fit for military service, ready for military service. It's crazy. This is country changing, it's country threatening, and it's country wrecking. They have wrecked our country. The 22-year-old nursing student in Georgia who was barbarically murdered by an illegal alien animal. The Democrats say, please don't call them animals. They're humans. I said, no, they're not humans. They're not humans. They're animals. And Nancy Pelosi told me that. She said, please don't use the word animal, sir, when you're talking about these people. I said, I'll use the word animal because that's what they are.
He plummeted to new depths of despicable, yes, somehow. As he lied about speaking with the family of murder victim Ruby Garcia, to which her sister Mavi Garcia said that Trump never spoke to any of her family members, and slammed him for politicizing her sister's death.
Now Ruby's loved ones and community are left grieving for this incredible young woman, remembering what they called her. They said she had just this most contagious laughter, and when she walked into a room, she lit up that room. And I've heard that from so many people. I spoke to some of her family.
One of the talking points of President Trump's speech was the deadly shooting of Ruby Garcia.
Brandon Ortiz-Vite admitted to killing Garcia and dumping her body along US 131 in Grand Rapids. Trump said he spoke with her family, but Target 8 investigator Ken Kolker spoke with Ruby Garcia's sister, the family spokesperson, who says that never happened. Ken, what did she have to say?
Ruby Garcia's sister says she's angry that her sister's death has become political.
It's always been about illegal immigrants. Nobody really speaks about when Americans do heinous crimes. And it's kind of shocking why he would just bring up illegals. What about Americans who do heinous crimes like this?
The sister, Mavi Garcia, spoke with the media days after the March 22nd shooting, but the family asked for privacy after that, including on the day of the funeral. But she responded immediately to a text from Target 8 after Trump's speech.
Now Ruby's loved ones and community are left grieving for this incredible young woman, remembering what they called her. They said she had just this most contagious laughter.
She says neither Trump nor anybody from his campaign has contacted her or anybody in her immediate family. She says her family is tight and she would know if that had happened.
He did not speak with any of us, so it was kind of shocking seeing that he had said that he had spoke with us and, saying, misinforming people, live TV. Shocking. I kind of stopped watching it. I only seen up to that. After I heard, a couple of misinformation that he has said, I kind of just stopped watching.
But rather than discuss this sickening attempt to use a young woman's death for political gain and to demonize all migrants, Fox News decided they wanted to talk about crime. Only not everyone on the panel was up to date on the talking points. And just watch the reaction as he rightfully fact-checks them on this matter. They scurry back to the migrant caravan and bring out anything and everything to deflect from this reality.
Certainly, it's good advice to Democrats. Listen, the president had all major police chiefs to the White House just last month. Violent crime is across the board down in most major cities, and that's something we need to talk about, certainly, as Democrats. The highest jump in the homicide rate, the murder rate in this country annually happened in the last year of the Trump administration. It didn't happen in any of the Biden years over these last 3 years. So again, the president is running on his record. Donald Trump is a different situation than 2016, has a record he's got to defend as well.
I consider illegal fentanyl brought in by drug cartels.
Violent crime has fallen to one of the lowest levels in more than 50 years under President Biden, while murders saw the largest annual increase in history under Trump. But it's hard to celebrate this brief moment of sanity on the same network that wants their viewers to believe that TikTok is the reason that people are saying crime is down, not the literal FBI statistics that support that case.
And the other thing is that the Biden administration says crime's down, but then if you go on TikTok, and that's where 50% of millennials getting their information, that's where they're seeing crime feels like it is up to them, and that makes a difference.
Yes, the vibes don't care about your facts argument.
You're seeing, since Joe Biden took office, crime skyrocket all around the country, and especially in big cities.
Government figures don't support the characterization that they want to portray, so what do? They accuse the government of lying. That's right, folks, they support law enforcement, but just not the things they say. Violent crime actually dropped 6% across the board when comparing the last 3 months of 2022 to the same period in 2023, according to the FBI. And most notably, the reported drops were pronounced in the big cities that Trump and the MAGA crowd often assails, many of which have Democratic mayors. Violent crime dropped by 11% in cities with populations of 1 million or more, while murders dropped 20%, rape was down 16%, and aggravated assault fell by 11%. At the national level, the reported rate of violent crime in 2022, the most recent full year with comprehensive FBI data, was 380.7 offenses per 100,000 people. That is lower than the overall reported violent crime rate from 2020, the last full year Trump was in office. The lowest reported violent crime rate of Trump's presidency was in 2019. The metric was in line with the 2022 rate.
Crime rates keep dropping. Crime, in fact, the rate is lower now than when Donald Trump was in office. Lower than it was in 2020, even slightly lower than it was in Trump's best year as it pertains to crime in 2019. Murder rates over the past year in the big cities that he's constantly harping on, down 20%. Rapes down 16%. You can go down the list, on and on. The most serious crimes way down. And again, the overall crime rate, for 2022, the last year recorded, the crime rate's lower again than Donald Trump's best year in 2019. Certainly a lot lower than 2020. So he'll say what he says. Republicans will keep lying. Other news outlets will keep lying about it. And people will whip themselves into a frenzy and say, what about crime? And you can show them the facts. It's just like, seriously, it's just like I could show people, maybe they're UNC fans where they don't want to know that Alabama won last night. I think it was 79-77, but Alabama beat UNC. And they go, no, that's not the truth. It's the fact. It's just the fact. They may not like it, but it's a fact. And that's how Trump extremists have gotten. And it's how cable news networks run. It's their business model to lie about the facts, to twist and distort reality for viewers day in, day out, night in, night out. And when you talk about crime, it's not as low as I want it to be. It's not as low as you want it to be. We've both said we think the bail issue in New York City is a joke. We think cops aren't allowed to do their jobs enough. We think that's a joke. That said, if you look at the numbers, Donald Trump is lying when he says crime rates are way up. They're not. They're down. They're lower than they were when he was president.
Yeah, that's just a fact. And violent crime in particular, all the ones you just laid out are down double digits year over year. They spiked in 19 and 20 and about the end of last year and really into the beginning of this year have come way down. Criminologists, law enforcement experts, they debate about why those numbers come down. They talked about that in the 90s in New York. Why did this work? The fact is they are down. And it's that perception versus reality thing that we talk about a little bit with the economy, right, Joe, where you say, look at the data. You have number after number showing how strong this economy is, how resilient it is. We know inflation is too high. And yet in polling, just like in crime, people say the economy is not good or crime is bad in this country. A lot of times it's a matter of perception. It's a way you feel walking down a street in New York City. If you see things that like street safety that don't make you feel good, and I get that. We all have some of that. But if you want to talk about data, violent crime in America is down significantly year over year. That is just a fact.
These are the facts, no matter how much the MAGA crowd wants to spin it.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.